Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering personalized service to customers from their first visit to the store to when they drive their new Land Rover home. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com.
Some area churches are supportive of the LGBTQ community. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Wednesday, June 26th. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, the Peoria Public School District is taking a new approach to keeping cell phones out of the classroom. The school board approved spending $250,000 to purchase up to 9,200 locking pouches made by the company Yonder, as well as district training and messaging for parents and students. Superintendent Sharon Karat says the district has a policy requiring cell phones to be put away in lockers, but it's just not cutting it.
We don't shy away from those challenges because it's really the right thing to do. Individuals, we're just sick and tired of getting into buildings and then that's all you see, cell phones.
Students will be responsible for the pouch, which they'll lock at the start of the day and unlock with a magnetic device at the end. Lost or destroyed pouches will mean a $30 replacement fee for the family. Karat says she expects this to be an effective alternative to current policy.
I'm optimistic about this efforts because they're going to be in possession of their phones. They will just be locked. So I think that's a distinct difference.
Karat says parents receive notifications in emergency situations from the school already, and parents can still reach their students by email or through calling the main office. The pouches are expected to roll out in this upcoming school year. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. The Tazewell County Board may reconsider its decision to deny a permit for a utility-scale solar farm in rural Delavan. And Peterson Healthcare's creditors are asking a federal bankruptcy judge for permission to delve deeper into how money was shuffled among the nursing home company, the CEO, and his other businesses. Plus, there's nothing in state law limiting how often an elected official actually needs to attend a meeting in person. That's according to a new binding opinion from the Illinois Attorney General's office. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. On this Pride Month, WCBU is taking a look into some of the affirming Peoria churches that welcome in the LGBTQ community with open arms. These houses of worship perform same-sex marriages and allow people to become church leaders regardless of sexuality or gender. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello reports.
Reverend Deborah Avery has been with United Presbyterian Church in Peoria since 2020. She has worked at churches in California, New York, and Arizona. Avery's daughter is trans, so she says working at an affirming church is important to her. She says her daughter really opened her eyes to the trauma members of the LGBTQ community regularly face.
The everyday trauma, especially for trans people, but even really just for any LGBTQ identifying person, the daily trauma of having to fit in to school, to community, to jobs, that's a daily chipping away at someone's humanity that the church has been part of.
Avery says she approaches the Bible with the understanding that they are ancient texts, and the teachings are not always meant to be taken literally.
You know, Jesus says, sell all you have and give your money to the poor, and then come and follow me. Who's doing that? Which church is doing that? Well, I'm not doing that as a person, right? I haven't sold my house and divested of everything I have towards poor people. But what would happen if we took that even 10% seriously?
Avery is now leading an effort within her church to be more forward about advertising their affirming status and partnering up with other affirming churches in Peoria. The first Christian church opened when Peoria was founded almost 180 years ago. They became open and affirming in 2016. But Mason Fitch, a church elder and child of the former pastor, says they always felt at home here.
So I came here when I was 6 years old. But growing up, this was like a second family to me for sure. And in high school, I came out as a lesbian. And then in 2014, I came out as trans. And this church has just welcomed me with open arms. There was not even a question about it.
Elder Sandra Surface moved to Peoria with her partner in 2004. She immediately knew the church was right for them.
I was afraid coming back here to the Midwest that I wasn't going to find such a welcoming, safe environment. And like I indicated, even before we became open and affirming, this church was a safe environment for me. But the reason it changed after the discernment process was now I could firmly say to other people, this is a safe environment.
Only one family left when the First Christian Church was officially declared an affirming place of worship. Imago Dei Church was founded 16 years ago as an interdenominational church which strives to include people of all races, genders, and sexualities. Pastor Melinda Sparks Renner moved to Peoria in 2020 from Alabama. She was a member of the Southern Baptist Church, where women are not allowed to preach. She decided to leave the Southern Baptist to follow her calling to preach. Sparks Renner has children who are LGBTQ, which led her to seek out an affirming church. She says she believes being a part of the LGBTQ community is not a sin. She did her dissertation on the clobber passages, which are often cited by those who believe homosexuality is wrong.
Those passages may not mean exactly what we've been taught that they mean, and there could be a different lens to interpret them through. And that's what that meant to me, that you are loved just as you are. You're not sinful. You are not in sin. You are made by God and you're beloved by God, and God has called you by name.
She shares this in her sermons.
I pulled a couple of verses out of that and shared how those verses in the original Greek did not mean what we've been taught that they mean. And as I'm teaching that on a Sunday morning, I'm looking out across a congregation of people who identify on this spectrum with tears in their eyes because they had never heard a pastor say that.
She says the church hasn't received much pushback for being openly affirming, but they have had their pride signs stolen multiple times. Open and affirming churches will be included in Peoria's River City Pride Fest in July, with booths and an affirming faith service. For WCBU, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Now, before we let you go, tonight is a regular meeting of the Tazewell County Board. Those meetings are at 6 p.m. in the Justice Center Community Room in Pekin. An increase in the county's animal control and emergency management budgets and reconsideration of 2 solar projects are on the agenda. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.